Hi, Mike Pangia. Hope you're doing well. We are going to make ravioli from scratch today. Now, one of the great advantages of making your own is that you can alter the filling. You can practice and play with it and put whatever you want to put in there. Be creative. I remember once years ago, a friend of mine made what was a pumpkin ravioli, a buttery pumpkin sauce, kind of like a pumpkin pie. It was really nice inside the pillow, inside the ravioli, really good. The ones that I've made are very plain. They're just cheese ravioli. I wish I had some fresh basil or parsley to chop up and put in there. Usually I do, but I didn't when I was making this. So I'm stuck. They're very plain, but they're very good. Here are the ingredients and the procedure to make the ravioli pasta. Here are the ingredients and the procedure to make the ravioli filling. I'm putting about a cup of ricotta cheese in a fine strainer sitting on top of a bowl. Flatten it out a little with your fingers. Then I want you to cover it with plastic wrap. Okay. Now I have some dry beans that I usually use for pie weights to hold down pie crust, but it's also good for this application. We'll put a little weight on top of the ricotta cheese to help press the water out of it. Make a space in your refrigerator and put the whole thing in. To stay for, at least 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours. Let's make our dough for our ravioli. First thing I want to do is mix up an egg so it'll be ready to go into the rest of the ingredients. Fork beating is adequate, that's enough. Now we're going to need, with that, 59 grams or a quarter of a cup of warm water, which I'm going to put right in with the egg. Mix that all up. Quarter of a teaspoon of salt. That look like a quarter of a teaspoon? Yeah, I think so. We'll put that in. Okay, now we need 160 grams of flour. So I'm going to use my kitchen scale. Make it about 40 per scoop, 50 when I take a big scoop. So let's see. There's 65, and we're looking for 160. $161, 160 on the nose. Okay, now we're gonna stir that up a bit and mix in our wet ingredients. I've added just a few drops of water extra. It seemed a little dry to me. The flour wasn't really going in it. Okay, now we're ready to flour our work surface. Dump the dough out. And we want to knead it by hand. You know, you're welcome to increase the quantities here, but it might be good for your first time to make just a small batch like I'm making. I make a small batch because I live alone and I have to eat all this stuff. So, okay, that's pretty smooth. I'm gonna call that done. get a piece of plastic wrap and wrap the ball of dough up so we can let it proof for 1 hour. Let's work on the filling. For the grated cheese, I'm going to use pecorino romano. A couple of tablespoons, I think, will be enough. That's about 2 tablespoons. We'll also need a couple of tablespoons of mozzarella cut into small cubes. So we'll get that done now too. Now we have our ricotta. I want to remove the weighted beans on top. Get them out of the way for now. And you can see we got quite a bit of water out of the cheese, so we're good there. Now I'm going to prepare our filling. Take the ricotta cheese that we've prepared, put in the other cheeses. Let's mix all the cheeses so they blend. I think we have a pretty good mixture. Now we're going to release our ball of pasta. To divide it into 4 pieces to work with. And I want to make each piece into like a sausage roll before I roll it out. Now we'll have to roll these out very thin and roll them as thin as possible. Now we're ready to fill them. About 3/4 of a teaspoon every 2 inches or so. Cover it. Press the top layer around your filling. Push the air out. Now I have these ravioli cutters, a square one and a round one. Today I'm going to use the square one because it looks like it'll fit better over what we have here. First one looks nice. Pretty good. Pull away the excess dough so you're left with just your ravioli patty. There we go. I'm going to put these aside and cover them for now. It's a good practice to press around the edges with your fingers to seal them tight and to thin that dough a little bit so it's not so hard when it cooks. Now to cook these the Italian way, a big pot of boiling water, generously salted. The Italian saying is to make it like the sea, as salty as the ocean. So put plenty of salt in. Top it with some olive oil, which will keep the pasta from sticking together later. Once the water is at a rapid boil, we're ready to put the ravioli in. After 11 minutes, scoop them out with a slotted spoon, put them in a colander. Now you'll see some cookbooks and other cooking instructions that'll say ravioli is done when it floats. With this particular recipe, that's absolutely not true. This ravioli isn't done till about 11 minutes. If you want it to be extra sure, you could go to 12 minutes. I'm going to show 3 ways to serve ravioli. The first is the most traditional. I'm using my own tomato sauce. If you look back among my videos, you'll find one how to do it. It's a vegan sauce. Most Italians know their ravioli served this way. You can use any tomato sauce on them. I recommend a homemade sauce. In my video, Italian red sauce. You can find it if you look back among my videos. Another way that works is with some butter. No sauce at all, just butter. You stir that in till it melts. It's very pleasant. It's a little heavy, so a small portion of 3 or 4 pieces would be enough. Now the last method, I admit I have never seen any Italians ever do this. In fact, I've never seen anyone ever do this except for me, so maybe it's another one of my original inventions. The idea is to deep fry them. Deep fry them till they're crispy. There it is, deep fried ravioli. Interesting little appetizer. Who'd have thunk it? Well, I had fun doing that. I hope you have fun making them, and you're going to make them. Now, if you do, can you do some pictures and email them to me at mike@mikepanja.com? Also, if you have any problems, any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get right to them, answer them for you. Meanwhile, the YouTube people tell me that about 70% of the people that watch my videos have not subscribed. If that's you, please change it and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. You can give me a thumbs up, a like if you like. If you don't like, as I always offer, hit the don't like. Be fair, it's honest. Most important thing you can do for me is share it. Find someone else that's interested in this kind of cooking, interested in watching these videos, and hit share. Let them take a look. I'd appreciate that. Okay, I think that does it. Any comments, thoughts, ideas, questions, put them in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again next time.